So this particular video encompasses like five different dreams that I had all in one night. So sometimes I can have like maybe pieces of a dream that I remember up to, I think the most was like 6 or 7 dreams in a night that I've been able to remember and write down. But the thing about these particular dreams is that each one of them had a particular fruit of Satan. And we know what kind of fruit he produces. I want to go ahead and get into the dreams because there's quite a lot that I want to talk about. So the first dream, I was on a panel with other teachers from this school that I used to work at. It was a second school that I worked at when I was a teacher. I'm not sure if I was supposed to be on the panel or it was like a surprise because the other people who were on, it was like a Zoom meeting. The other people who were there were kind of surprised to see me. And so the principal mentioned, and this is a new principal, this person in the dream was not the principal who was principal at that school. I had two different principals at that school, and this person was not either one of them. So the principal mentioned that she had gotten to know everyone else, but she wanted other teachers to speak, right? I don't know if this was like an interview process or something like that, but one of the women who spoke, she was a teacher when I was there. We're going to call her Mary. So Mary said, "Is that Moniqua?" which is my name. And the screen began to glitch, going in and out, but the audio was clear. So Mary said Moniqua was a really good teacher and her fruit always produced. My concern is the fruit she produced. Her fruit always prospered. One time she said that she didn't feel that her class and the audio went out. Then Mary said she explained that I explained some idea that I had that worked, but she kept mentioning that my fruit produced and prospered. But the thing is, she made it sound like it was a bad thing. Like it was bad that my fruit was good. The things that I did was good. Now, when I was a teacher, I was always rated highly effective, right? That's like the highest, I believe, during evaluation that you can get, highly effective. I was a great teacher. But the thing is, she kept saying these good things, but she said them like so condescending and kind of just like she made it sound bad, even though it was a good thing. She explained the good it produced, and that I was doing all these good things, but she was concerned because my fruit was good. And the theme that I wrote for that is doubt, because that is something that I have struggled with over the past year in my walk with Messiah. Is that, am I producing good fruit? Is the fruit that I'm producing good? Am I producing any fruit at all? And that was confirmation that yes, I am, but Satan is also still trying to make it seem bad. We know Satan lies, but what he does is he'll take the truth and he'll twist it, right? So he was trying to take the truth of the fact that I produce good fruit, but twist it and make it seem like it was a bad thing. And I'm just like, you really think you slick? Like, no. And the only thing is that actually gave me confirmation that no, I am producing good fruit. The second dream that I had, and I don't think these dreams are actually in order. I just wrote them down as they came to me when I had woken up. I was in a class with an Asian male teacher, and he had sent for an Asian girl to come back to class. She came back and told him that he told her that she was allowed to go do experiments. He began to laugh at her and told her that she shouldn't be asking him to do things while he was playing video games, which happened the Thursday before. Because in a dream, so interesting, I had a flashback in a dream of the week prior. And for that particular dream was intimidation, because that is something that the enemy will try to do. The enemy will try his hardest to intimidate you in any way that he possibly can. The third one was I was in a class and we were reading some book. I sat down at an empty desk with the book already open, and we were supposed to be on page 211. But the book on the desk didn't have page 211. And the boy whose desk it was, he came and I got up still trying to find the page. I told him something was wrong with his book, and he said that there wasn't anything wrong. And that one is confusion, because you will notice that something is off, and then the enemy will tell you, no, it's not off. You're just tripping. You're just confused. The enemy is the like Lord of confusion. That's what we're going to say. He's the Lord of confusion, the King of confusion, confusion and chaos. That's what he does. The next dream was this was the same teacher from the second dream, the Asian teacher. I remember I kept walking around the classroom to get different things before I was going back to my desk. And the issue was that every time I went to my desk, I had forgotten something. Every single time I went up to get something, I sat back down, I forgot something else. Distraction. The enemy was always trying to distract you, especially right now. The things that are going on in the media, whatever's going on social media, I don't know because I'm not on there, but I do hear things that are going on. I do see the things that come up on my YouTube feed, and I scroll past it. But the enemy is really, really good at keeping people distracted. And I'm not necessarily distracted by anything right now, but again, I've mentioned before, my dreams are not always for me. They're for other people. Who specifically, I don't know. But that is the point of this series. Just distraction, distracted by a whole bunch of things. And we cannot be distracted right now. We cannot. Yahushua says over and over again, watch, be alert. Make sure that you are not deceived. You need to be watching all of the signs, the things that are going on around you. Whatever they have in the media, that's like all on social media, all on YouTube, all on the news, don't look at it. Because the thing is, they're trying to distract you from other things they're trying to do or other things that are going on. And the last one, this was more so deception. And I was really upset about this one. So I was on a bus and I was headed to a resort with a bunch of other people. And there was a man who I had been flirting with on the bus. I saw the resort and was excited that we would have our own room. We got there and began unloading. Inside there was a second floor, and to get up there you had to climb up this like bamboo ladder. It had a very Asian theme, and it kind of went along with the other two dreams with the Asian teacher. It was really thin. Not only that, it moved as you were trying to go up, and it was very steep. I climbed up and I saw the man who I was with on the bus flirting with, kissing his wife. And I was immediately upset and jealous. And they both began talking to me like nothing had happened about some live show that was happening that evening. Then the man was telling me about something about the ladder. I was too afraid to climb down, but I did, and I packed my things to leave. I could not stay there. It made me think of deception. Like the enemy will make you think one thing, but it's really something else. He will make you believe something is so true, it's too good to be true, but it's really something else, something more. The enemy has a way of making you think one thing, making you believe it, and then in the next instance, completely taking it away from you. Kind of like yanking the rug out from under you. And in this dream, I did feel shame. I felt hurt and absolutely deceived because this man and I are having a conversation. We're supposed to be sleeping in a room together. And he had a whole wife that I didn't even know about. I don't remember seeing this lady on the bus. I will say that I don't remember seeing her at all. So I'm like, where did she come from? How do you have a whole wife? And he just acted like, he and I never flirted. We never had a conversation or anything. And I'm just like, are you serious right now? But the thing is, that's what the enemy does. He will deceive you. And there's going to be so much deception as time goes on. And we know this. We know this from reading um, the Gospels. We know this from reading Paul's letters. We know this from reading Peter and John's letters and Jude's and James and all that. Like, we know this. Once you get closer towards the end of the Bible, you really see a lot of things that are written in there are currently happening. And the enemy, he's really desperate. He is really desperate right now to put doubt into people, to deceive people, to distract people, to confuse them. He is so manipulative and he's so anxious because he's like, I don't want to end up in a lake of fire without as many people as I possibly can. Oh, y'all already know the lake of fire is going to be practically full. And he's trying to make it as full as possible because there's only going to be a remnant that make it into the kingdom on the new earth. There's going to be just a remnant. There's not going to be that many people. And Satan's like, you know what? I need to do this. I need to work harder. I need to go into overdrive, And these dreams, it's just like somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to hear this because there's somebody out there who was doubting something. There's somebody out there who is confused. There's someone who's being deceived. There's someone who's being distracted. There's somebody who's being intimidated. I need to share this so people can understand, like, hey, that is the enemy. That is nobody but the enemy because Yah does not do that. He is not the author of confusion. He is not the author of doubt. He does not intimidate unless you're being disobedient. Then in that case, you deserve it. But he is not the author of any of these types of things. These are fruits of Satan, fruits of the enemy. This is what the enemy does.
So, y'all know I always come with scripture when I talk about these dreams because a lot of my dreams, there are scriptures that correlate to them. So, for doubt, first one being Matthew 21 and 21. Yahushua answered them, yes, I tell you, if you have trust and don't doubt, you will not only do what was done to this fig tree, but even if you say to this mountain, go and throw yourself into the sea, it will be done. You cannot pray and ask Yah for things when you have doubt in your mind. If you have doubt, your prayers and the things that you ask for, they're going to go to the ceiling and they're going to come right back down. He's not going to receive those prayers or hear those prayers if you have doubt that, those things may or may not even happen. Another one is Romans 14 and 23. But the doubter comes under condemnation if he eats, because his action is not based on trust. Anything not based on trust is sin. So if whatever you're doing, you're not trusting it, that is a sin because you're not trusting Yah. You're supposed to have put all of your trust in Him. You cannot doubt. So for intimidation, I have a First Peter 3 and 14, which says, but even if you do suffer for being righteous, you are blessed. Moreover, don't fear what they fear or be disturbed, but treat the Messiah as holy, as Yahweh in your hearts, while remaining always ready to give a reasoned answer to anyone who asks you to explain the hope you have in you, yet with humility and fear, right? Keeping your conscience clear so that when you are spoken against, those who abuse the good behavior flowing from your union with the Messiah may be put to shame. Do not let people intimidate you. Don't let a single person, nobody should intimidate you but the Creator. I'm just going to say that nobody should intimidate you but our Creator because there's nobody who can do what he does. He's the only person that you should feel any type of intimidation by, period. So for confusion, I have a 1 Corinthians 14 and 33. For Yah is not Elohim of unruliness, but of peace or shalom, right? So we know that Satan is the author of confusion. Nothing about Yah is confusing. He is very orderly, he is very organized, he is perfect. Okay, he is the epitome of perfection. Everything is in order the way that he does things. Everything is crisp, cut, and clean. So there's nothing confusing about him. He says what he says, and that's what he says. There's nothing confusing about that. He's very plain with the way that he does things and the way that he says things. So for distraction, so this is a good one for distractions. This is a story. I'm going to read a few verses from Luke 10:38 through 42. On their way, Yahushua and his disciples came to a village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister called Miriam who also sat at Yahushua's feet and heard what he had to say. But Martha was busy with all the work to be done. So going up to him, she said, "Sir, don't you care that my sister has been leaving me to do all the work by myself?" However, Yahushua answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are fretting and worrying about so many things, but there is only one thing that is essential. Miriam has chosen the right thing, and it won't be taken away from her." And it made me think about, being in this classroom, I keep getting up to get things, I keep forgetting something, so distracted by doing things. Mind you, I'm the only person who's getting up and like going and getting things. Everyone else is sitting down, listening to the teacher, while I'm just up, walking around, looking, getting things, going back to my desk, keep forgetting something, so distracted, right? But the thing is, that represents our lives. We are so distracted by so many different things. It is wild, wild at how many things we're distracted by: our jobs, our children. Granted, being a mother, being a parent, a father is a ministry. You're ministering over your children, but you can be so consumed, distracted by parenthood, by a spouse, by your job, by being a friend, um, a child of your parents, a sibling. So many distractions that you're not paying attention to what you should be paying attention to. Now, for deception, I have quite a few verses. So, Matthew 26:41, Mark 14:38, and Luke 21:36 all say some form of like the same kind of thing. So, I'm going to read Luke 21 and 36 because essentially it's all the same thing. He says, "Stay alert," and this is Yahushai. "Stay alert, always praying that you will have the strength to escape all the things that will happen and to stand in the presence of the Son of Man. Do not be distracted. Do not be deceived." So, distraction and deceive kind of go into the same thing because we are in a time where people are being deceived by these pastors, by these teachers, by these false prophets, by these people who claim to be Yahweh. There's so much deception going on. We're being deceived by the news, by the media, a lot of deception, but you have to stay alert and you have to watch. Yes, look at these things, but don't spend so much time focused on them because if you do that, you're going to have these things going in your brain. You're going to be thinking about these things, and it's just going to be like, it's going to have you and your faith wavering because you're going to be deceived like, oh, that sounds good, but doesn't line up with scripture. And that's the thing that we have to focus on. Just because something sounds good does not mean that it lines up with scripture, right? So my next one is Colossians 2:8 through 9. It reads, "Watch out so that no one will take you captive by means of philosophy and empty deceit, following human tradition which accords with the elemental spirits of the world, but does not accord with the Messiah." So, like I just said, people are saying things, but doesn't line up with scripture. "For in him, bodily, lives the fullness of all that Elohim is." For in him is all that Elohim is. First Peter 4 and 7. "The accomplishing of the goal of all things is close at hand. Therefore, keep alert and self controlled so that you can pray." You cannot pray if you have all these thoughts running through your mind. You cannot pray when you're under the influence of some kind of substance, whether it be a drug or whether it be alcohol. You cannot pray when you are being distracted. You cannot pray when you have doubt. And that is why Yahweh always calls us to be sober minded. No, it is not a sin to drink. It is not a sin to smoke or take all these drugs or whatever. However, the effect that these things have on our body can cause us to make decisions that will make us sin. So, again, pay attention, right? And the last scripture that I have is Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 9 through 11. When this man who avoids Torah comes, the adversary will give him the power to work all kinds of false miracles, signs, and wonders. We have to be on the lookout for that. We absolutely have to. He will enable him to deceive in all kinds of wicked ways those who are headed for destruction because they would not receive the love of the truth that could have saved them. This is why Elohim is causing them to go astray so that they will believe the lie. Yes, Yahweh does absolutely cause people to go astray who are going to believe the lies because one, you're not obeying him. You're not obeying his laws, statutes, and commandments. You're not listening to him. You don't believe in him. You don't trust in him. And you want nothing to do with him. Yes, he will let you be led astray. Don't be that person. I pray that this dream has, or these dreams rather, have helped somebody because, yeah, I know we all can learn from these things, but stay in your word to prevent doubt, to prevent intimidation, to prevent confusion, distraction, and deception.